The following Fubo privacy policy can be found on the Fubo website at legal.fubo.tv/policies/en-us/name=privacy-policy. There will be a link below in the video's description. Fubo Privacy Policy, effective date June 3, 2024. In this privacy policy, we describe how Fubo TV Media Incorporated and its parent and affiliates, including but not limited to Fubo TV Inc., Fubo, we, our, or us, collects, uses, and discloses your information. We also describe the rights and choices you have regarding our use of your information. This privacy policy applies to the information that we collect, including about users of Fubo's websites, including but not limited to Fubo.tv, sites, Fubo mobile apps, the apps, and other websites and mobile apps or services that are owned and operated by us that link to this privacy policy, collectively, with the site and apps, the services. Your use of the services is subject to this privacy policy and the applicable terms of service. To the extent we provide you notice on our services of different or additional privacy policies or practices, for example, at the point of our collection, those additional terms shall govern such data collection and use. Undefined capitalized terms used in this privacy policy shall have the meaning set forth in the terms of service. Information collected through the services is controlled by Fubo, which is headquartered in the United States. Please read this privacy policy carefully to understand how we handle your information. If you do not agree to this privacy policy, please do not access or otherwise use the services. Section 1. Information we collect. We obtain a variety of information from and about you as you access or otherwise use the services. Please note that we need certain types of information so that we can provide certain services to you. If you do not provide us with certain information or ask us to delete it, you may no longer be able to access or use our services. Information you provide to us. We collect information directly from you through your use of our services. For example, we collect information from you through your account registration and administering your account, processing and fulfilling your requests, your communications and dealings with us, including on our website and interactive chat function, mobile app, on third-party social media sites, and by mail or email, your participation in promotions, surveys, or research, your reviews, comments, and other posts to our services, your interactions with our sites and apps, and your requests for customer support and technical assistance. We will collect any information that you choose to provide to us. The information collected by us and/or vendors on our behalf generally includes account registration information, including identifiers. For services requiring an account, we collect account registration information. This includes your email, password, and zip code, and you may also register using third-party single sign-on credentials such as those for Apple, Google, and Facebook. These credentials are used to authenticate you for Fubo, but we do not receive such credentials. Contact or profile information, including identifiers. You may provide additional contact or profile information through the services including, as applicable, a phone number, online screen name, profile name, additional profile names, and biographic information. You may also provide contact information of others, including email address or phone number, or give us permission to access your contacts or to invite them to the services. Profile or preference information. You may provide team preferences, content ratings and preferences, favorite channels, and profile photos. Financial information. To use certain of the services or engage in certain transactions, we collect additional information with account and verification information as necessary to complete those transactions, including contact information such as address or zip code, and credit or debit card information, which is processed by our third-party payment processors. Transactional or commercial information. We collect information about your activity and all transactions through your account, such as orders and purchases, packages or add-ons selected, and programming searched for, recorded, and watched. Inquiries and feedback. We collect comments and questions you submit through automated, online, and offline customer service interactions with us or surveys. Contests, sweepstakes, and surveys. To participate in certain promotions on the services, like contests, sweepstakes, and surveys, we may collect separate registration information including your name, contact information, such as email address, mailing address, telephone number, demographic or profile information, and preferences related to the promotion, such as prize selection. User-generated content. Certain parts of the services may enable you to post or submit content, or you to integrate with other services through which we may receive content. Such content may include reviews, ratings, photos, or other content that, depending on where you post them, may be publicly viewable. Audio information. We may record calls, such as customer service calls. Fubo Partner Program information. If you apply to participate in our Fubo Partner Program, we collect application information, including contact information and company information. Information we collect through automated means. When you use our services, we collect certain information automatically as described in this section. We and vendors on our behalf may use a variety of technologies, including Wi-Fi detection, cookies, and similar tools, to assist in collecting this information. You can learn more about cookies and similar tools operating on the services and how to manage them in the Cookies and Similar Technologies section below, and the disclosure of automatically collected information in the How We Disclose Your Information section below. Location information. We and vendors on our behalf collect location-related information, including through IP address information, Wi-Fi detection, or other location estimation technology. Location-related information we collect may be used for purposes specified in the How We Use Your Information section below, including to verify whether you are eligible to participate in the services, determine channels available to on Fubo, to improve our location-based services, and to comply with our legal obligations. Device information and related identifiers. When you use the services, we and vendors on our behalf collect and analyze information such as your IP address, which also enables us to approximate the state or country from which you access the services, browser characteristics, device IDs and characteristics, platform type, operating system, and identifiers used for advertising or measurement and analytics. Usage information. When you use the services, we and vendors on our behalf and analyze information about your usage activities such as referring and exit pages and URLs, the number of clicks, files you download, domain names, landing pages and content viewed in the order of those pages, content recorded or saved on Fubo, the amount of time spent on particular pages, the date and time you used the services and upload or post content, error logs, language preferences, and other similar information. We and vendors on our behalf also may combine diagnostic and usage information collected on our services with other information about your online activities over time, including use of other devices, websites, or apps, if such services also use the same vendors. Information we collect from others. Fubo affiliates. We may obtain information about you from other Fubo services, including our affiliates, other companies in connection with providing the services. We collect information from other companies with whom you have a relationship, depending on what services you use, to provide the services such as for Fubo your TV or internet service provider, streaming providers, device providers, mobile carriers, companies who provide services to you and collect payment for services for us, and voice assistant providers who enable voice command interaction with our services. This information may include your searches and commands, authentication or activation information such as your email address or other contact information, device information such as IP addresses, device IDs, or other unique identifiers. Other third parties. We may also receive information from other third parties, including our business partners, including but not limited as applicable, sponsorship partners, or customer referral marketing partners. We may also receive information from other third parties, such as marketers, consumer data resellers, researchers, advertising networks, and analysts. Social media entities. When you like or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or other social media sites, we may collect some information from you including your name, email address, and any comments or content you post relevant to us. We also collect your information if you sign up for one of our promotions or submit information to us through social media sites. If a friend invites you to use the services, we may collect your contact information to provide such invitation, such as email address and/or mobile phone number. Section 2. How we use your information. We and vendors on our behalf use the information described above to accomplish the following business and operational purposes. Administer your account, including to process your registration, verify your identity and information, where applicable, and confirm your general location and eligibility to use the services. process and track your transactions, provide, manage, and improve the services, including providing a seamless experience across platforms and devices, provide you with updates and information about your transactions and the services, respond to your requests for information, and provide you with more effective and efficient customer service, including through our interactive chat functions, including via text message with your permission to the extent required by law. Conduct internal business operations in support of our services, such as auditing, security, resolving crashes, preventing fraud, invoicing and accounting, sales and marketing, analytics, and research and development. Contact you regarding our products, services, surveys, promotions, special events, newsletters, information, and other subjects that we think may be of interest to you, including via text message with your permission to the extent required by law. Customize content, preferences, and advertising, including targeted advertising, on or for the services. Conduct promotions, contests, and surveys. Comply with legal and regulatory requirements, contractual obligations, and other legal process and procedures. Establish, exercise, or defend our legal rights and prevent fraud. And take steps that we reasonably believe to be necessary to protect the safety, security, and rights of Fubo and our affiliates, its employees, vendors, and others. Please note that we may combine the information we collect through the services with information that we collect automatically or receive from other sources, and use such combined information in accordance with this privacy policy. We may also aggregate, de-identify, and/or anonymize any information collected through the services in such a way that we cannot reasonably link information to you or your device. We may use such aggregate, de-identified, or anonymous information for any purpose, including without limitation for research and marketing purposes. When we de-identify information, we maintain it in de-identified form and do not attempt to re-identify the information. Section 3. How we disclose your information. We and vendors on our behalf disclose information we collect from and about you for the following business and operational purposes listed below. Vendors. We may provide access to or share your information with select vendors who perform services on our behalf, such as authentication or verification, location services, technical support, marketing, product content and features, advertising, analytics, research, customer service, data storage, security, fraud prevention, payment processing and order fulfillment, and professional services such as legal services, auditors, and consultants. Affiliates and subsidiaries. We may provide access to or provide your information to current or future affiliates and subsidiaries. Measurement companies. We may disclose certain information about you or your device, for example, IP address, with information about content you view on the Fubo TV services to video measurement services such as Nielsen, as well as other analytics providers. The information that we share with measurement companies does not, on its own, personally identify a specific individual. Third-party partners, content providers, or sponsors to provide co-branded or jointly offered products and services and content providers' products and services. Some of our services may from time to time partner with another brand or other third party, such as sports leagues, sports venues, content providers, and other entities, to offer services, products, events, and promotions on a co-branded, sponsored, or cross-promotional basis or on behalf of a content provider. The information you provide in connection with such services may be collected directly by or shared with the third party, including content providers, as well as with any participating sponsors or advertisers of such services. These third parties will use your information in accordance with their own privacy policy. Other third parties, including advertisers and advertising networks. We may also disclose certain information to other third parties, including advertising networks and advertisers, sponsorship partners, and customer referral marketing partners, including to better tailor our services and for marketing and advertising on our services and on third-party platforms. Note that to the extent we disclose specific viewing information, for example, the title of what you watched, to these parties, we will do so only with information that does not, on its own, personally identify a specific individual. For example, we may provide your IP address and/or the type of device you use. We may also share user identifiers used by us or vendors acting on our behalf. We will obtain your consent before we share specific viewing information with a third party to the extent required by applicable law. Separately, Third parties may directly obtain your information via their cookies and similar technologies operating on the services and combine this information with other information in their possession to identify you. These third parties will use your information in accordance with their own privacy policy. You can learn more about cookies and similar tools operating on the services and how to manage them in the Cookies and Similar Technologies section below. Third parties for their own purposes. Except where prohibited by applicable law or as otherwise noted herein, we may disclose, including by selling, renting, or licensing or making available, your information to other businesses or third parties for use for their own purposes for monetary or other valuable consideration. Depending upon your jurisdiction, you may opt out of such sales by contacting us as described in this policy. We do not sell your credit card or other account payment information. Protection of Fubo and others, and legal compliance. We may access, retain, and disclose the information we collect and maintain about you if required to do so by law or in a good faith belief that such access, retention, or disclosure is reasonably necessary to 1. Comply with law, for example, disclosure to regulators, or legal process, for example, a subpoena or court order. 2. Enforce applicable terms or service or terms and conditions, this privacy policy, or other contracts with you, including investigation of potential violations thereof. 3. Respond to your requests for customer service, and/or 4. Protect the rights, property, or personal safety of Fubo, its agents and affiliates, its users, and/or the public. This includes exchanging information with other companies and organizations for fraud protection, spam/malware prevention, and similar purposes. Business transfers. We may buy, merge, or partner with other companies. In such transactions, including in contemplation of such transactions, information may be among the transferred assets. If a portion or all of our assets are sold or transferred to a third party, customer information, including your email address, would likely be one of the transferred business assets. Other users on the services or parties with whom you share information or through which you use the services. The information you disclose to others on or through the services may be shared with parties you allow to receive such information. If you connect or authenticate to our services through a third party, information will go to that company. If the services enable you to disclose information through social networking services, for example, Facebook, or through integrations with other services, such as streaming partners for Fubo, or links, the information you provide through such services or enable to be collected by such service will be shared with that service and its users in accordance with that service's privacy policy and any settings you have on such service. If you post content on the services, other users may see it. Your consent. We may disclose your information if you have consented to our disclosure of your information or direct us to disclose your information. Your viewing data. We may request consent to disclose your specific viewing data, that is, the title of what you watched, with information that personally identifies you, for example, email address or name. Even if you have not consented, we may disclose such data as permitted by applicable law, such as to fulfill your request. In addition, as described above, we may disclose viewing data with data that does not, on its own, personally identify you, such as IP address, device information, and user identifiers used by us or vendors acting on our behalf. We may share or disclose aggregate, de-identified, or anonymous information with any third party, including advertisers, promotional partners, and sponsors. Section 4. Cookies and Similar Technologies. To collect the information in the information we collect through automated means section above, we and our vendors on our behalf, and in some instances third-party partners, use web server logs, cookies, tags, pixels, and other similar technologies, cookies. A web server log is a file where website activity is stored. A cookie is a small text file that is placed on your computer or mobile device when you visit a website, and it enables us to 1. Recognize your computer, 2. Store your preferences and settings, 3. Understand the web pages of the services you have visited, 4. Enhance your user experience by delivering and measuring the effectiveness of content and advertising tailored to your interests, 5. Perform searches and analytics, and 6. Assist with security and administrative functions. Pixels, sometimes referred to as web beacons or clear GIFs, are tiny electronic tags with a unique identifier embedded in websites, online ads, and/or email that are designed to 1. Collect usage information like ad impressions or clicks and email open rates, 2. Measure popularity of the services and associated advertising. And 3. Access user cookies. Cookies are typically classified as either session cookies, which do not stay on your device after you close your browser, or persistent cookies, which will usually remain on your device until you delete them or they expire. Sometimes cookies are placed by us, first-party cookies, and sometimes they are placed by others, third-party cookies. Different cookies are used to perform different functions on our services. Essential cookies. Some cookies are essential to the services and enable you to use the features of the services and access secure areas of the services. Without these cookies, we cannot enable appropriate content based on the type of device you are using. For example, essential cookies store user login information so that you don't have to re-enter it for each page you visit on our website. Functional cookies. These cookies allow us to remember choices you make on our services, such as your preferred language or the region you are in. Personalization cookies. We also use cookies to change the way our services behave or look in order to personalize your experience from information we infer from your behavior on our services or information we may already know about you because, for example, you are a registered user. These cookies may be used to tailor the services or the content, look, and feel delivered to you on subsequent sessions to our services. For example, if you personalize web pages or use specific parts of the services, a cookie helps our web page server recall your specific information. Analytics or performance cookies. We use our own cookies and/or third-party cookies to see how you use our services in order to enhance their performance and develop them according to the preferences of our customers and visitors. For example, cookies may be used to maintain a consistent look and feel across our services, track and provide trend analysis on how our users interact with our services, track errors, and measure the effectiveness of our content. See the Online Analytics and Advertising section below for further information on our use of analytics cookies. Advertising cookies. These cookies record that your browser has visited our sites, the pages your browser has visited, and the links opened on the browser. Vendors on our behalf and third-party advertising partners may use this information and other information in their possession to make advertisements more relevant to you. See the Online Analytics and Advertising section below for further information on our use of cookies for online advertising purposes. There are a number of ways you can manage what cookies are set on your devices. For example, you can choose to disable or delete cookies in your internet browser at any time. Some browsers also permit you to disable all cookies or only third-party cookies by default. For further details, please consult the Help menu in your internet browser or the documentation that came with your device. If you do not allow certain cookies to be installed, the services may not be accessible to you and/or the performance or features of the services may be compromised. See Online Analytics and Advertising for more information. Section 5. Online Analytics and Advertising. Analytics. We may use third-party web analytics services, such as those of Google Analytics, on our services to collect and analyze usage information through cookies and similar tools. Engage in auditing, research, or reporting, assist with fraud prevention, and provide certain features to you. To prevent Google Analytics from using your information for analytics, you may install the Google Analytics Opt-out browser add-on by clicking here, linked to tools.google.com/dl page/GA-optout. If you receive email from us, we may use certain analytics tools, such as pixels, to capture data such as when you open our message or click on any links or banners our email contains. This data allows us to gauge the effectiveness of our communications and marketing campaigns. Online advertising. The services may allow third-party advertising technologies to place cookies or other tracking technologies on your computer, mobile phone, or other device to collect information about you to assist in the delivery of relevant advertising about the services on other websites you visit and other services you use. If you are interested in more information about tailored browser advertising and how you can generally control certain cookies from being put on your computer to deliver tailored advertising, you may visit your rights and choices regarding your information below or the Network Advertising Initiative's Consumer Opt-out link, linked at optout.networkadvertising.org/#. The Digital Advertising Alliance's Consumer Opt-out link, linked at optout.aboutads.info/#, or your online choices, linked at youronlinechoices.eu, to opt out of receiving tailored advertising from companies that participate in those programs. To opt out of Google Analytics for display advertising or customize Google Display Network ads, Visit the Google Ads settings page, linked at adsettings.google.com/authenticated. Please note that these opt-outs apply per device, so you will have to opt out for each device through which you access our services. If you opt out through these methods, you may still see advertisements, but they may not be as relevant to you. Section 6. How we protect your information. The data we collect through the services is stored on secure servers located in the United States. We take measures to protect your information against accidental or unlawful destruction or accidental loss, alteration, unauthorized disclosure, or access. However, no method of transmission over the Internet and no means of electronic or physical storage is absolutely secure. By using our services, you acknowledge and accept that we cannot guarantee the security of your information transmitted to, through, or on our services, and that any such transmission is at your own risk. You are responsible for keeping your account information, and especially your login information, confidential. We ask you not to share your login credentials with anyone. Section 7. Retention of information. We keep your information for as long as we determine is necessary for the purposes for which it is processed. The length of time for which we retain information depends on the purposes for which we collected and use it and/or is required to comply with applicable laws. Section 8. Third-party links and features. The services may contain links to third-party websites, third-party plugins, for example, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you choose to use these websites, plugins, or services, you may disclose your information not just to those third parties, but also to their users and the public more generally depending on how their services function. If you choose to use these services, we are not responsible for the content or practices of such third-party websites or services. The collection, use, and disclosure of your information will be subject to the privacy policies of the third-party websites or services, and not this privacy policy. We urge you to read the privacy and security policies of these third parties. Section 9. Your rights and choices regarding your information. Marketing communications. If we send you marketing communications based on our relationship with you, your consent, or applicable law, depending upon your jurisdiction, you may instruct us not to use your contact information to contact you by email, postal mail, or telephone call regarding products, services, promotions, and special events that might appeal to your interests by contacting us using the information below. In commercial email messages, you can also opt out by following the instructions located at the bottom of such emails. Please note that, regardless of your request, we may still use and share certain information as permitted by this privacy policy or as required by applicable law. For example, you may not opt out of certain operational emails, such as those reflecting our relationship or transactions with you. To opt out of SMS messages from Fubo, please follow the directions in the applicable SMS terms. Opt out of viewing measurement by Nielsen. On select platforms, Fubo uses Nielsen's proprietary measurement software to inform us and advertising service providers of the content consumption habits of our users to better serve their needs. You can read more about Nielsen at nielsen.com/digitalprivacy and learn how to opt out, accessing, correcting, or deleting your information. You may access or correct certain of your information in your account by logging into your account, changing your settings, or by requesting access or changes by emailing us. You may request deletion of certain personal information maintained by us. We will use commercially reasonable efforts to honor your deletion request, but please note that we may be legally or otherwise required to keep such information and not delete it, or to keep this information for a certain time, in which case we will comply with your deletion request only after we have fulfilled such requirements. You can email us at privacy@fubo.tv detailing your privacy request. After we delete information, it may remain in backup for a certain time. We may also retain your information to prevent fraud or other unlawful activity or for similar purposes. You may have additional rights depending on your jurisdiction. Please see privacy rights below and additional information for California residents and additional information for certain users outside the United States. Privacy rights. Your local laws, such as those in the California, Colorado, Connecticut, Virginia, Utah, and other U.S. states, and the UK or EU, may permit you to exercise certain rights with respect to the information we collect from and about you. Please note that your rights vary depending upon your location, and that we may request you provide us with information necessary to confirm your identity and verify your request before responding to your request as required or permitted by applicable law. Certain information may be exempt from such requests under applicable law. For example, we need certain types of information so that we can provide the services to you or to comply with a legal obligation. In some circumstances, if you still ask us to delete your information, you may no longer be able to access or use our services. Depending on your location, local law may allow you, or an authorized agent acting on your behalf, to make certain requests related to your personal information, including that we inform you about the categories of personal information we collect or disclose about you, the categories of sources of such information, the business or commercial purpose for collecting or selling your personal information, and the categories of third parties with whom we disclose or sell personal information. Such information is also set forth in this privacy policy. Provide access to and/or a copy of certain personal information we hold about you. Correct certain information we have about you. Delete certain personal information we have about you. Stop selling, sharing, or processing your personal information for targeted advertising purposes. Provide you with information about the financial incentives that we offer to you, if any. Applicable law may provide you with the right not to be discriminated for exercising your rights. If you would like further information regarding your legal rights under applicable law or would like to exercise any of them, or if you are an authorized agent making a request on a user's behalf, please contact us at privacy@fubo.tv and include personal data request in the subject line or click here. Depending on your location, you may also have the right to appeal our decision relating to your request by contacting us as privacy@fubo.tv and including personal data request appeal in the subject line. Do not sell or share or process personal information for targeted advertising. Residents of certain U.S. states, including California, Colorado, Connecticut, Nevada, Utah, Virginia, and other U.S. states only. Residents of California, Colorado, Connecticut, Nevada, Utah, Virginia, and certain other U.S. states may have the right to opt out of the sale of their personal information, alongside the sharing or processing of their personal information for targeted advertising to them. Certain applicable laws broadly define sale to include allowing third parties to receive certain information such as cookies, IP address, and/or browsing behavior in order to enable us to market our services to you on other websites or apps, or to serve you targeted advertisements on the services. Depending on what services you use, we may share, and over the past 12 months have shared, the following categories of information in a manner that constitutes a sale, sharing, or processing of personal information for targeted advertising. With advertising networks and advertisers and other third for targeted advertising purposes, identifiers, such as IP address, and unique advertising identifiers and cookies, demographics, internet, or other electronic network information, such as certain browsing history, app usage and other connection and usage information, geolocation information, such as city, and inference data. With sponsorship partners, customer marketing referral partners, and other business partners, in order to improve the marketing messages you receive from us and them and to enhance the data they have about you for their own marketing purposes. Identifiers, including device identifiers and contact information, such as activities on the services. More information is available in how we disclose your information. If you, or, if applicable under law, your authorized agent, would like to opt out of our sale of sharing or processing of personal information for such purposes, you may do so by navigating to the following page for our website, your privacy choices. You may still receive advertising, including ads based on data collected by Fubo on the services. Please note, if you use different browsers, devices, or services, you will need to make your choices separately for our sites and apps. Please note that if you have a legally recognized browser-based opt-out preference signal turned on via your device browser, such as Global Privacy Control, we recognize such preference in accordance and to the extent required by applicable law for an opt-out on our sites. You must still email us as set forth above to opt out for our streaming services. Section 10. Additional information for California residents. Additional information. If you are a California resident, the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, requires us to provide you with some additional information. Under the CCPA, we are required to provide you with the categories of personal information, in addition to the specific pieces outlined above, we collect. Depending upon the types of services you use, the categories we collect and have collected over the past 12 months are identifiers, such as name, address, email address, commercial information, such as transaction data, financial data, such as credit card information, internet or other network or device activity, such as browsing history or app usage, demographic information, age, location information, such as city, state, and zip code, user-generated content, inference data about you. For example, the additional products and services we think you may be interested based on prior purchases or usage data, and other information that identifies or can be reasonably associated with you. We also collect, and have collected in the past 12 months, information considered sensitive under CCPA, namely login information for your Fubo account. Please see the information we collect for more information. We use the above categories of information that we collect from you and from social media companies, researchers, consumer data resellers, and analytics partners in order to provide and manage the services you request, to contact you, to analyze the use of our services, to market our services to you, for bug detection and error reporting, to audit consumer interactions on the services, to protect the rights of the Fubo services, for legal compliance, and with your consent. For more detail regarding the purposes for which we use information, please see how we use information for more information. We only use and disclose sensitive personal information for the purposes specified in the CCPA or otherwise in line with your consent. Depending on the circumstances, we may disclose any of the above categories of information we collect with business partners to provide you with services that you request, vendors, other parties, including government entities, when required by law or to protect our users and services, social media services pursuant to that service and your settings, and with your consent, or in connection with a corporate transaction. In addition, we may share commercial information and financial data, including your payment information, with payment processors, and we share device information and identifiers and internet or other network or device activity with entities that provide content, advertising, and functionality. See how we use your information and how we disclose your information for more information. Finally, we sell and share, and have in the past 12 months sold and shared certain information, as described in privacy rights above. We do not have actual knowledge that we sell or share personal information of residents under 16 years of age. Financial incentives, California only. The services may offer opportunities to receive certain services or benefits such as discounts or free services, which may require the provision of personal information. Such opportunities may be a financial incentive under applicable law, each an incentive. When you participate in an incentive, you agree to the terms of that incentive. You can end your participation depending on the incentive, for example, by opting out of emails or discontinuing the service or notifying us. To the extent we can determine the value of your information, we consider the value we gain by providing you with the incentive and a personalized experience and the expenses of the incentive in order to develop an incentive that is reasonably related to the costs. Data retention. We retain your information as long as it is necessary to fulfill the purposes for which we collect it, unless a longer retention is required or permitted by law. We consider the nature and sensitivity of the information, the purposes for which we process the information, applicable legal requirements, and our legitimate interests in determining how long to retain information. Different processing purposes may dictate different retention periods for the same types of information. California privacy rights. If you are a California resident, the CCPA allows you, or an authorized agent acting on your behalf, to make certain requests related to your personal information. Please see privacy rights above. Finally, we sell and share, and have in the past 12 months sold and shared certain information, as described in privacy rights above. We do not have actual knowledge that we sell or share personal information of residents under 16 years of age. Financial incentives, California only. The services may offer opportunities to receive certain services or benefits such as discounts or free services, which may require the provision of personal information. Such opportunities may be a financial incentive under applicable law, each an incentive. When you participate in an incentive, you agree to the terms of that incentive. You can end your participation depending on the incentive, for example, by opting out of emails or discontinuing the service or notifying us. To the extent we can determine the value of your information, we consider the value we gain by providing you with the incentive and a personalized experience, and the expenses of the incentive in order to develop an incentive that is reasonably related to the costs. Data retention. We retain your information as long as it is necessary to fulfill the purposes for which we collect it, unless a longer retention is required or permitted by law. We consider the nature and sensitivity of the information, the purposes for which we process the information, applicable legal requirements, and our legitimate interests in determining how long to retain information. Different processing purposes may dictate different retention periods for the same types of information. California privacy rights. If you are a California resident, the CCPA allows you, or an authorized agent acting on your behalf, to make certain requests related to your personal information. Please see privacy rights above. In addition, the California Shine the Light law gives residents of California the right under certain circumstances to request information from us regarding the manner in which we share certain categories of personal information, as defined in the Shine the Light law, with third parties for their direct marketing purposes. California residents may contact us at 1290 Avenue of the Americas, 9th floor, New York, New York 10104. Attention! General Counsel, Privacy. In the body of your request, you must include California Shine the Light request, your name, a current California address including street address, city, state, and zip code, as well as sufficient information for us to determine if the law applies to you. You will need to attest to the fact that you are a California resident. We will not accept requests by telephone, email, or facsimile, and we are not responsible for notices that are not labeled or sent properly, or that do not have complete information. Do not track, DNT, is a privacy preference that users can set in certain web browsers. We are committed to providing you with meaningful choices about the information collected on our website for third-party purposes, which is why we describe a variety of opt-out mechanisms above. However, we do not currently recognize or respond to browser-initiated DNT signals except as described herein. Learn more about Do Not Track, linked here at allaboutdnt.com. Section 11. Additional information for certain users outside the United States. Under applicable law in the European Economic Area, EEA, United Kingdom, UK, and Switzerland, Fubo is considered the data controller of the personal data we handle under this policy. Our contact information appears at the end of this policy. Residents of certain jurisdictions, like the EEA, UK, and Canada may be able to request one or more individual rights set forth in your rights above under applicable law. International transfers. The services are headquartered in the United States, where we process and store information. We may also store information on servers and equipment in other countries depending on a variety of factors, including the locations of our users and vendors. We will ensure that transfers of personal data to a third country or an international organization are subject to appropriate safeguards. By using the services or otherwise providing information to us, you consent to the processing, transfer, and storage of information in and to the U.S. and other countries, where you may not have the same rights as you do under local law and where data may be accessible to law enforcement and national security authorities under certain circumstances. Purposes of processing and legal basis for processing. Under the law of certain jurisdictions, such as the European Union, the UK, and Brazil, we rely on legal bases, valid legal reasons, for the processing of personal data as follows. 1. As necessary for a contract you have with us, such as to use our services under our terms of service. 2. With your consent, when we rely on this basis, you have the right to withdraw your consent at any time. 3. The processing is necessary for our legitimate interests or those of a third party, unless there is a good reason to protect your personal information and that takes priority over our or a third party's legitimate interests, including providing certain of our services, to understand, develop, and improve our services, for authentication and security purposes, to investigate, identify, bring, or defend legal claims, disclose information to relevant parties such as law enforcement and to respond to legal requests, and to provide advertising. 4. The processing is necessary for us comply with applicable laws. And 5. The processing is necessary to protect someone's life or physical or mental well-being and to remove and report illegal content. If applicable, you may make a complaint to the Data Protection Supervisory Authority in the country where you are based. Alternatively, you may seek a remedy through local courts if you believe your rights have been breached. Section 12. Children. We do not knowingly collect personal information from children under 13. If you are a parent or guardian and believe your child under 13 has provided us with personal information without consent, please contact us. Section 13. Changes to our privacy policy. We reserve the right to amend this privacy policy at any time. We will make the revised privacy policy accessible through the services, so you should review the privacy policy periodically. You can know if the privacy policy has changed since the last time you reviewed it by checking the effective date at the beginning of this privacy policy. If we make a material change to this privacy policy, we will provide you with notice in accordance with legal requirements. By continuing to use the services, you are confirming that you have read and understood the latest version of this privacy policy. Section 14. Contact information. If you wish to contact us regarding our information practices or in relation to this privacy policy, please email us at privacy@fubo.tv. Fubo, 1290, Avenue of Americas, New York, New York 10104. Attention, General Counsel. This has been a reading of the Fubo Privacy Policy, effective date June 3, 2024. A link to the full text can be found in the video's description. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.